Hello everyone, Agion here, another Dawn of War 3 replay. Spawn on the right side as a Space Marine player, we have Harryyson. Spawn on the left side as the Orc player, we have Vorbak. Slight disclaimer, if you notice there's anything weird going on, let's just say when I was out working, I did not notice I found a patch of poison ivy. And since I never washed off, and over prolonged time of exposure to it, let's just say I got quite a bit of reaction. So my face is a little bit, looks like it's been burned, but it's actually poison ivy. So let's hopefully I don't find a poison ivy patch again when working. So so if you see anything wrong with my face, it's probably because of poison ivy. Either way, looks like here the doctrines, we got invigorating slam for the shield, frag grenade for the tech marines. And we got the assault leap for the assault marines. You got early wall concert. You can easily see by that stone shield that he does have that. We do got 4 very early elite point commanders. You have Jonathan Orion, Chaplain Diomedes, and Gabriel Angelos. His opponent we have having Storm Boys, Beauty, Morkanot, and Big Mech Wazmaka. You got the early wall concert being initiated, along with some Gretchen's patches for some cannon fodder. The cheap cannon fodder, 50 requisition. You will actually send this servitor onto the point, and we do also got a couple drop points. We do got the drop pod as well as the band does do a nice little dodge there. We do got these boys going for meleeing down the shield generator. The shooters are trying to ward away the attack marines. He will get some minor damage and probably fall back. This forcing out the banner and this drop pod very early means he won't have access to that later. And we do got to jump in by the assault marines. We do of course have the assault leap, which is basically like the Howling Banshees Howling Charge. I'm not like sure what, I forget what exactly it's called, but they use the upgrade. Servitor can go over here and contest with the Gretchens, but I'm also not exactly sure who wins in engineer battles. I honestly have no idea because they just go on for so ever. I just assume most times it seems like Bone Singers win out because they have a shield. But that's all that I really know. Gretchens will get slayed, chopped in half. Now those boys are now Gits are everywhere. I'm trying to put some sort of orc mannerism onto it. Really not good at putting any accent, let alone putting something specific like an orc. We do got the assault marines using their jump to get away. They already used the assault leap, so that won't be available until another 4 seconds. But most of them will be able to get out, no problem. We do got a frag grenade way too early, but good anticipation. We got 2 requisition points over here by the Space Marine player, 1 requisition power for on the left side for the orc player. We also got 1 requisition over here, so it looks like the orc player is slightly ahead in economy. He may be eyeing for a lead point generator. Gretchen's and servitor will engage. Oh, but there are scout snipers here to support. Boys engaging the attack marines in melee. The assault marines will go engage the shooters, but however, there's a squad of Ludas over here, and he does use his recharge jump to escape out of there. And this attack marine will, of course, escape as well. He's also bringing another power generator. He could upgrade it now, but usually they want to invest into units. We do got Storm Boys now out. There are, of course, 2 elite points. Be another 90 seconds away till the... I'm guessing Jonathan Orion. When, let's see, he can go for a scout's blind and silence, but you don't need that to be on him to be on the field. We got Dreadnoughts activate slam and heals enough to avoid death instead of dying for the final slam. It does not need to be deployed for that. Sometimes they have to be deployed along with it. So I'm not exactly sure if you should go for Jonathan Orion or Chaplain Diomedes. I'm guessing Jonathan Orion having an early nuker, well, he support crowd control in the early phase can be quite potent. And seeing how they're lined up 4-3-3, I think he's going bottom, middle, top. Storm Boys. Oh, they missed the assault marines. That's actually quite big. Now they Boys will be engaged in melee. Storm boys will engage in the scouts. Snipers of the suicide bomber who will kill them off in one shot. Death gun looters will get tied up in melee by the attack marines. Very nice. Assault marine looks like they're going to initiate the small wog. The shout. And we'll get their temporary shield right then. But one of the squads will in fact go down. The other submarine, these submarines can't escape out. He may jump out now. Yeah, he is jumping out now. No, he's jumping in. And will get killed in midair. Attack marines will secure up the shield generator. The squad of boys will probably get finished off. Oh, maybe not.
Assault marine squad deployed.
There he goes. He finally goes down. I think he actually got whacked instead of shot to death by those bolt pistols. Ultra pistols. We do got a forward observation post here. We do got requisition over here. Double power here. So he really needs a... Oh, Chaplain Diomedes is going to be the first choice. So he really needs to make sure he gets... Protect this area. I mean, it's very vulnerable to the opponent at the moment, but he's not going to go for it. He knows his opponent captured the top generator. He's just going to contest that. We do got a WOG tower here, as we saw with that earlier WOG concert. So over here, while he doesn't have observation posts, this will, of course, will good substitute for observation post. Elite point generator. He needs this elite point generator. This is critical for him to hold this because you got 3, 3, and 4 here versus 2, 4, 9. He needs that elite point generator to reduce the cooled, will increase his elite points, just so he can get out his heavier one sooner rather than game over.
Point captured. May this fuel our victory.
Oh, I was going to say fuel, but nope, there's no fuel in this game. It's power and requisition. Company Heroes 2 uses the 3 major resources: manpower, munitions, and fuel. And of course, all of them have the 4th population, of course. It's usually, though, important in Company Heroes 2, you can be popped out quite easily, capped quite easily. But I honestly don't think I've ever seen a game where this, in Dawn of War 3, where population cap was actually reached. Because everything costs so little population. Well, these guys cost 10, but it seems like they never really come close to that point. And it's coming on down. He's eyeing to Siege's position, and he taking out the elite point generator is critical. Chaplain Diomedes is also here to support, but getting tied up on the Gretchens, doing a spin maneuver, I think. You got drop pod coming down onto the WOG truck that most likely will kill off. No, deal significant amount of damage. It is filled with will of course enable to surround. We do got the what on earth made it have a last stand? I'm not exactly sure. I didn't. Never mind. We do got the Storm Boys now here. We do got Death Gun Looters coming in on the rear, but they're getting. They are all alone, so they will probably get tied up in melee. Yeah, they will get tied up in melee. Storm Boys do in fact go down. Elite Point Generator is still alive, but with no army really to speak of. You guys have a number of Death Gun Looters. Where are they? Oh, there's one here. One here that just got killed off. We do got this points being destroyed. However, he did not destroy the elite point generator. That would be a huge blunder if he doesn't. While destroying those buildings are important, he's not denying any income. We got one elite point for the Space Marine player, but we do got 3 here, and he's 45 seconds away to get Big Mech Wazmaka. This shield generator will in fact go down. And he's not eyeing to go forward. Taking on a shield turret at this point in the game is very risky. We got 2 towers here. That won't provide all too much defense at the moment. We could see Big Mac Wazmaka imminent. He should be 13 seconds away, so the wall tower will get cleaned up, most like the point as well. There's only one power node on it as well, so it's not a huge loss. We do got Jonathan Orion now out on the field. Wait, how do you get Jonathan Orion and Chaplain Diomedes before Big Mac Wazmak came on the field? And it's still both sided takes 6. How on earth did he get that sooner? Unless I'm overlooking something. Because he had an elite point generator for a very long time, and yet Big Mac Wazmaka came out later?
Preparing servitor for deployment.
Is this something I'm not seeing? Because that's still a total of 6 elite points from both sides. But yet,
A power generator is in jeopardy.
I'm not sure.
A power generator has been destroyed.
Looks like he will clear up the power generator that's down there. He could go ahead and capture up the point with the Gretchens. But I still don't understand. That was still 6 in total elite points for both sides. How would the Space Marine player get his first before, even though the elite point generator was even in favor of the Orc player?
Assault Marines readying for
Is there just something that's just not seeing?
Forge at the ready. A requisition generator is ready.
You got a Kilocan here. Kilocans, I do like them quite a bit. They're good in great numbers. However, getting them great numbers can be a bit of a problem. You got a stone wall being activated, so he knows there's Jonathan Orion in the area. You got Chaplain Diomedes leading these forces to take out the other shield generator. Losing both of them is not good, to say the least.
We are losing a point.
Directions are also here, perhaps with a bit of cannon fodder. Won't do all too much. We could see some orbital scrap down. Storm Boys will jump in, disrupt the forces. We'll get a very good nuke right there. Wipes out most of the models there. So the shield generator will help make them a bit alive a bit longer with Chaplain Diomedes' ability. You got some scrap now being called on in.
Ready to drop. The arsenal is prepared. Orbital drop.
You even got some Orc knobs here. We do got an orbital drop in. I didn't see what type of unit it was. It was just some more Assault Marines who could see the taunt. We'll tie up almost all of the enemies in melee.
Cast the holy standard.
But then again, a lot of these forces are melee units, so it's not like the greatest of things.
Standard is cast.
Here comes down the banner. Orc knobs are very resilient. Ooh, there's their explosion. Really sniffing out damage. And we'll tie up these guys in the taunt when they're trying to retreat back. Very nice. Chaplain Diomedes may in fact go down. There are scouts here. Their blind grenade will be available in 10 seconds, but it may not be enough time. However, there is the Rosarus still available. Or... Oh, that's... Wait. Wait a second. He does not have the Rosarus ability. He has the Final Slam. Never mind.
I am listening. An enemy force has engaged us. Northwards.
Jonathan Orion has been spotted. These shooters won't be able to do all too much versus these two units. We got the Gretchen slowly picking away against this requisition generator that is being built.
A point has been lost. Whirlwind artillery battery deployed.
We do got Warwinds now coming on out, so we do see some rocket artillery.
The foe would destroy a requisition generator.
Kilocons, there are 2 Kilocons here. One of them's not scrapped up. He really should get it scrapped up so he has the bigger volley available. The Kilocon's primary functionality in order is burst damage. And they need to, and increasing, scrapping them up will increase their payload amount, allowing them for a bigger burst potential. We'll clean up those Assault Marines here. Looks like we have a bunch of Lasgun Devastators now coming forward. They're, of course, an AT unit.
Listening post is destroyed.
There goes the Gretchens, not big surprise. Ooh, accidentally tacking the scrap.
Requisition generator
That is...
lost.
Wait,
Upgrade.
that is an accident, right? Because he just destroyed that one after the...
Requisition generator
never
has
mind.
been destroyed.
This point will get destroyed off before it gets cancelled. This point will also get destroyed as well. We do got a wog tower as well as observation posts coming on up here. And we do got some lasgun assault marines coming through drop pod, or at least be available. We do have a bit of a scrap here. I really want to see this thing scrapped up. I think he knows about it. I think he was trying to scrap with this one, but he already has that one upgraded. Kilikon here. These lasgun devastators can be good versus them, but his opponent's paying attention to microwaving, that wouldn't be too much of a problem. Do got, of course, these scrap turrets thanks to Wazmaka. That's another reason why he's going for killer cons. Upon death, they become a scrap turret. Now, if you have a bunch of them that died, that's a lot of scrap turrets. And look how much damage doing to Jonathan Orion, just a passive death. Now, imagine that entire army of those dying. It's not exactly ideal, but they'll probably get the payload off before they die, making a substantial burst and sustain potential, though you're losing your army for the sustain. Storm Boys now coming on out. We do got Death Dread as well. You got this guy still not upgraded. This whirlwind can be very devastating. You got some scrap coming in down, perhaps for the Kilikons? No, for the scrap turrets, of course. May just keep those scrap there. Whirlwind's coming on in. It's actually going to destroy the scrap. Whirlwind didn't do all too much damage. The shield generator may go down. You got a number of assault marines here jumping on in. Looks like Chaplain Diomedes is coming on out. Death Dread is not upgraded, so he doesn't have the passive shield. More and more scrap turrets are coming on down thanks to exploding killer cons. This guy will manage to escape out, however. Will fall back to these turrets. Killer Con needs to just run back home. He's actually going to scrap a middle combat. He does not have healing scrap, so that's very risky. He needs to get some Gretchens to heal it up now. And these scrap turrets are just going to passively hurt all of his opponents. You got a elite point generator being rebuilt once again. He's eyeing for that elite point, so in order to get the beauty out sooner rather than later. Because Gabriel Angelos is now available. And since Gabriel Angelos is available, now he just can sink all of his elite points into nukes or orbital strikes. Once, of course, he gets up to Stronghold 3, which he already has. You got Wog Concert being initiated. Not a whole lot of force here. Maybe he's eyeing for it for defense, or perhaps trying to ward away his opponent because he can hear this concert going off. You got a big track here, going the wrong side of town, which is very problematic for him. You got a Killer Con here, needs to be repaired up by some Gretchens, and some shooters here he sort of forgot about. Suicide Bomber? Yep. You don't know too much because the shield generator. He doesn't have all too many men left, so he needs actually to retreat back. But going on in, very dangerous with only 2 members there. Some more and more scrap is calling on down. He needs to make sure his scrap does not get splash damaged. Or when we come in for some barrages, we'll roll large misses, however. You got the standard coming on down. It will have a very good amount of radius. It will initiate the scrap turrets. And of course, with all these nearby Wog towers, that's a lot of scrap. But however, there's a Death Storm drop pod. It will initiate this shield drain and prevent any fire upon the turret. He could go ahead and... No, he already used up this one. Never mind. Chaplain Diomedes and Gabriel Angelos are pushing up right over here. I don't see Jonathan Orion. I think he... Jonathan Ryan's actually right here. Big Mac Wazmaka will be forced back. He may in fact run down. And we've even got some plasma gunners here.
The scale of battle has grown.
Overall, the Orc player is not in a too good position He needs to hold out for debut, basically. The Skelecon still has not been repaired up.
We are battling a weak enemy force. Look eastward.
So one shooter left, one man, but he will not do all too much. Orcs are not known for their marksmanship or their survivability.
Las cannons charged, devastators ready.
A war concert being initiated. I think he's expecting an attack soon, but actually he's heading over here. Deathcopter will in fact spot this force.
Predator, a drop pod is available.
He will spot the servitor if he were to shoot it, but he will probably lose a power point. However, there is a large army here. They're all wogged up. However, he should be fine. The observation post is getting hit now. With increased movement, he can easily engage it. And those rockets just ripping Chaplain Diomedes instantly apart. And now he will no longer have additional shields available. And these shields, while they're good, they won't last forever. Chaplain Diomedes, not Chaplain. Gabriel Angelos is now on the front line. You got the big track also here to support. There's a number of Lasgun Devastators here to take out the big track. There are Orc Knobs here to tie up these guys in melee. Big track's now getting hit.
A power generator is in jeopardy.
And sort of got killed by pathing at that point. He needed to stay at max range, really.
Orbital bombardment.
You got orbital bombardments now available. You got also an orbital drop pod with a land speeder. Deathcopter harassing the power point will in fact take them out.
Deathstorm drop pod ready. A power generator is in jeopardy.
Gabriel Angelos will need to retreat back soon. He's very low in health. These units are not engaging for some odd reason.
Power generator lost.
Wait, I thought he took out that shield generator. No, he actually saved it. Never mind. You got the power sword upgraded for the submarine, so now they deal true damage. Death Chopper will get surrounded upon by these submarines. Will get killed off. You got another Death Copter here. Wazmaka is probably not up. No scrap turrets at the moment. And you got a land speeder here. He's being upgraded to class with the multi-melta. Now you can help engage these Death Copters. Closest thing this game has to a dogfight. This Wazmaka, yeah, only when deployed, the Rex will create scrap turrets. So losing Wazmaka is not very good for its mechanized base play. You also even have a Predator Destructor now here. These looters will in fact get killed off no problem. How far away is he from... The Butte is almost ready. He just needs a little bit more time. And he can buy that amount of time, no problem. You can even trade a turret for that time. You got the orbital strike now coming on in. He's trying to take out the... I actually never really seen anybody... actually taking that thing out. He's trying to capture it now. Let's see if he actually capture it. Yes, he will capture it. Will deny the additional direction of the orbital strike. And there goes Jonathan Orion. These Storm Boys are just going to stick at the point for long enough, and they will. And there goes the orbital strike, doing minimum damage. Really, not being able to chase his opponents is a bit of a problem for him. What did I hear get deployed?
Whirlwind reporting. Preparing assault marines.
Oh, he dropped his Death Storm drop pod? That's a little bit too early and not going to be all too effective, really.
We've completed a requisition generator. I would take the field.
The Death Storm drop pods are not all too great. They tend... In order for all the guns to fire, they need to be dropped in the middle of a formation. Usually you don't get all guns firing to be a full effectiveness. You got Chaplain Diomedes now being deployed down out. You got the Whirlwind here for strike.
The enemy is stealing a point.
And you got these power points starting to be reclaimed. You still got Gabriel Angelos as well. But the Butte will be out soon. It's a short 27 seconds before we do got the tier 9 elite point unit. We do got a suicide bomber now coming on in. Looks like he's going to roll a large miss. Hi. You got a Death Dread now doing on a little bit of a flank. However, he can't clear the garrison because he's just too big for it. He will be chopping away against the shield, but he will lose it at this rate. There's too many las guns in the area. Oh. There it goes. Now there's a bit of scrap now being sent into his opponent. The Butte is now on the field, and now the... Oh, that's just that does the barrier. Never mind. Nothing on deploy. Do got assault over here. The Butte has been spotted. We'll get stunned by Gabriel Angelos, but even Gabriel Angelos won't really have all too effective versus it. The scrap, the Mega Blast is charging up. We'll get stunned once again. Big Mech will in fact go down. Again, chain stunned is a bit problematic, and there are some las gun devastators here just do additional damage. You also got the barrier here doing those additional orbital strikes. Needs to deploy out the Gretchens for some healing. You do got a drop here, more las gun devastators. You got the shooters now here to support. But Gabriel Angelos is trying to go in for another stun, but he won't be able to. We'll go in the cover of the turret, and we'll get another stun off as well. They did deploy the Gretchens, and the Gretchens, I'm not sure where they are exactly. They may have already been killed off. Could have gone in for a bit of healing. And there goes... Oh, the Butte is in the... is being healed up now. There it goes down. The Whirlwind barrage. Oh, the Whirlwind's trying to destroy these generator points, which is unguarded and did pretty much no damage. That was not exactly as advisable. We do got a big track out on the field. It looks like he will in fact harass the economy once again. Rocks are available, so he does have this nuclear weapon available, or kinetic bombardment really in this case. Both sides losing quite a bit of economy, or primarily the orc player losing this bit, this, and not claiming that one, and losing that. But how these power points will also get destroyed. In comparison down the two populations, you got 110 versus only 63. These las gun devastators only have population costs of 9, so they're quite efficient on population. You got some dreadnoughts being called on out, and some scout marines for the stun and blind, and now they also silence as well.
This battle has escalated to the final phase.
requisition points are not being established across the line from both sides. Don't even see another power point here. It looks like this point was still destroyed from the Death Copter.
Standby for orbital drop.
We do got the Dreadnought available through orbital drop. He may be eyeing for the other points as well as Dreadnoughts.
A new drop pod bay is online. Dreadnought, readying for drop.
This wall concert will initiate. He may be eyeing to push forward into this turret.
Force spotted.
He has clear lines of sight up to the center points here. So he does have a very good avenue for approach. But he's actually going up north.
Generator is ready. We've scouted the beginnings of a new enemy structure. Servitor deployed.
Storm Boys have been redeployed. Now, of course, although it'll be quite a bit of time before we see the Butte available, another 60 seconds. Lasgun Devastators can easily destroy out the Wog truck. Storm Boys will jump on in, as well as sending in the knobs. Jonathan Orion has initiated the stone wall, disciple wall, dispel stone wall. And you got the Dreadnought being deployed on the back line, though he is in the middle of artillery range. You got the scrap turret being initiated from Wasmach. That was not the scrap turret, never mind.
Power generator is ready.
Yes, that. I'm not exactly sure what's been causing all that temporary life. Oh, crazed state. Yeah, that's what it was. I was from the Storm Boys. Which apparently also applies to the Butte because you can repair them up by Gretchens. The shield generator effect will go down. You got Gabriel Angelos being deployed behind them, so most likely the Orc knobs will clean up. Though the Storm Boys could jump out of there. They were in the middle of jumping, but they got stunned in the middle of jump, so they were denied. Suicide bombers will hit the Lasgun Devastators. It looks like he's establishing a frontline production. Big Mac Wasmaka is going to run away. There's a number of heavy weapons team here with the Dreadnought. You also still got the big track. It has been upgraded so you can send in some mines across the area to do additional damage. We do have the rocks available. The orbital strike is also available, so we could see some heavy artillery via by orbital weapons come in. Big track's trying to reposition. It's best not to go any forward that way and reposition around this direction. You got this Death Dread now out. And you got the Whirlwind coming for a barrage. We'll roll some good hits. However, there's a huge concave here. You got a huge number of heavy weapon teams along with some supporting scouts. You got assault marines being jumped on in. You got dreadnoughts on the back line. This orc force will be surrounded. You got Wasmach. You got an orbital strike being called on into the doctrinal chapel. This force will get annihilated through the huge concave of the Space Marine player, as well as the behind the line drops. Big Mech Wasmaka actually has the rock coming down upon it. We'll destroy one of those dreadnoughts. Do got more and more strikes coming on in. Still got a scrap turret still up, so in fact another dreadnought may in fact go down. No, it's hitting Chaplain Diomedes. We got these ooh, that laser did quite a bit of damage. We got these units here. We got a squig as well, knocking back some of these nearby units. I do got some reinforcements here, though they're very damaged themselves. The Butte will be available in 30 seconds. That could be a good turning point in this engagement. Dreadnought will be activate his invigorating slam. Will be down to his last bit of health. The turret will in fact go down before he goes down himself. You could see Inkbusters trying to engage them, but Chaplain Diamond is engaging them in melee. Or when repositioning Ein to help siege the area. Here comes the Beauty. We can instantly deploy the Gretchens in order just to get them out. I mean, free Gretchens is never a bad idea. You got a Predator Destructor here, but he will get outclassed by the Big Heavy. You got a... He's Ein... Ooh, we'll destroy the Dreadnought there. Chaplain Diomed's down... Will get killed by the Big Claw, the Rocket Fist. You could go ahead and recall it, bringing the Predator Destructor towards him. Warwind's coming in for a barrage onto him. And this big track still raining in artillery. The rest of his opponent's force will be cleaned up. The Orc Knob is still alive, and there's a large number of Orc Knobs still now out and about. You can go ahead and start approaching over here. Still got a significant amount of time before even Jonathan Orion will be off a cooldown. But, ooh, this is a Dreadnought that has no more Invigorating Slam. That was just it. And so he will get a little bit outclassed by the Dreadnought. It was currently being healed thanks to nearby banner. And we will manage to kill off those Orc Knobs. He must have got quite a bit of upgrades for vehicle health and damage. He has 2 damage, 3 health. So these are very resilient Dreadnoughts. However, the Butte is here. We'll destroy that chapel very easily. We'll get the Gretchens now. We'll start repairing this guy up. However, he's in range of those free orbital strikes, doing constant amount of free damage, wiping out a number of those Gretchen. The point of the elite point generator at this point in the game is, well, pointless. Though he will have more and more rock stored up, I guess. You got a Dreadnought over here supporting some Assault Marines, but however, you got some Tank Busters getting some free damage upon him. York player is doing a little bit better in economy for the time being. He now still has these 2 power generators. We got these points here. These points are starting to be cleaned up. The big track is in the kill him far mode, not to kill him close, so he needs to re-toggle that. We got the Storm Boys here engaging these forces, but they will get way outclassed, and they're far from being able to jump away. He could just initiate suicide bomber. We'll get killed off. Jonathan Orion is now out on the field. Chaplain Gabriel Angelos is now also available. We'll throw in the Rocket Fist, doing a significant amount of damage right there. Go ahead and use the Custom Force Shield right now, as all of his enemy units are pretty much right next to him. Orbital Strike's now available. We could see actually be called into the Butte now. Yes, we do see something being deployed in. Drop Pod as well as a Dreadnought. Though there's some Def Gun looters here for support. We could see the Mega Blast. Does not initiate it. Time. And do, however, we've got some reinforcing knobs hitting the Dreadnought, but Dreadnought being very effective. His Invigorating Slam is recharging. He needs to charge it up before he can actually engage it. And you got a number of stuns coming on down thanks to Gabriel Angelos, which will kill off the Butte. Enter the crazed state now. Scrap turrets are now coming on up thanks to the Wazmaka now out on the field. Gabriel Angelos managed to somehow get that ability off, even though he was already dead in midair. And do got 2 whirlwinds here for artillery support now, but his opponent is facing against a tank and a hero unit. It's not exactly ideal in this current situation. We got a Dreadnought here, but is engaged by a Death Dread. We got 3 whirlwinds here coming for a barrage. We'll be trying to hit these forces, but rolling a bunch of misses there. The Dreadnought will in fact defeat the Mad Dread. Will, however, hit by the damage over time afterwards. Chaplain Diamond is now engaged in Wazmaka in melee. Big Track will in fact go down. We got a number of scrap turrets now coming on out thanks to the destroyed vehicles. We'll go ahead and call some of these units. We'll be starting to hit the shield generator now. However, we do got some artillery coming onto the scrap. We'll be on destroy it entirely. Oh, wait. The shield generator, you can now use as a shield generator once again. You can hit multiple times, just so close to death. It's about 1 hit away from death. There he goes. Wazmaka is now getting hit. He can't be losing this hero at the moment. He has his abilities to passive ability in order to gain free scrap turrets upon death is quite critical. These assault marines do of course have another assault jump available, so death was assured. Still got the 3 whirlwinds, so he has a huge amount of artillery. Do also got now Predator production coming on now. As well as some Death Dreads. Now, then I'll get the Buzzsaw ability when they get scrapped up. Don't see them really all too effective. Though they're great if once Wazmaka gets redeployed to get a huge swarm of them, have the scrap turrets do additional damage as they just charge on in. Of course, it means losing your army. The wall concert will be initiated. We got a number of points going. These center points have been going exchanging hands various times.
Dreadnought, readying for drop. Point captured.
We got a number of dreadnoughts being rebuilt for drop pods, though he's a bit low on resources at the moment. We'll reclaim these 2 power points, which is quite critical.
Las cannon devastators readying for drop.
One of these whirlwinds will get quickly picked off. That's a nice pickup. The other one's right here. He does spot it, this getting a lot of damage onto it. Destroying these artillery pieces are quite important. Assault Marines will go ahead and jump on in the tank busters. I think that's Orbital Strike coming on in. Yes, it is. Jonathan Orion here to protect the radio beacon, and we've got this Predator Destructor now getting hit, but it looks like this Orbital Strike will cover it. He most likely won't lose it. He is actually meant to capture the beacon, so now it'll be shortly shut off soon, and it will get this turned off. Now there are still rocks available for the Orc player, so we will have the nuke advantage for the time being. Has a good amount of requisition as well, so we could start spending them in perhaps even just some boys. Gretchen's a big mob of Gretchens. We do got this Daka Hut now getting hit. No reposition of units now. A bit of Benadryl before starting this cast to help the Poison Ivy. Of course, I feel the starts of it making me fall drowsy now. Looks like these points start getting hit. We've got the Predator being meleeed down. We've got the 2 Dreadnoughts here being very potent. Oh no, the pile of guns is still alive. What upgrades? Didn't have much vehicle damage or health, just 1 of each, and almost all the infantry upgrades. We got the core being locked down, so it won't sustain any damage for the time being. However, he still has to fight units upon the front line. He's losing multiple units and structures. Very problematic. And all of his elite units are very far from cooldown. He's trying to run his tank buses forward. The big rock is about ready to come on in. We'll almost wipe out the entirety of the force, just leaving the couple dreadnoughts. They do, of course, have invigorating slam once the ability recharges. Who managed to reclaim all these points thanks to the Death Copter. Silicon tried to go on in, but without any rockets. Power Core is now very vulnerable, just only some shooters here to defend. This Dreadnought is very close to going down. His Invigorating Slam is not off of cooldown. Very low in health, probably just a couple shots away from death. However, they've got some supporting units here now, including Predator Destructor and Gabriel Angelos. There's nothing much here to defend, so this is pretty much going to end spell end for the replay. Of course, now it's sitting quite a bit of fire, using the Death Copter to buzzsaw on in, doing minor damage. And there goes the power core. This is DoW3 saying thank you for watching and signing off.